Well, good morning. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. How are you all today? I'm Steve Smith. For anybody that doesn't know and just happened to wander by, it's good to have you here. First off, welcome to all of our new subscribers, both on YouTube and on Patreon. It's great to have you. Make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure that you hit the thumbs up. Leave a comment. Become a part of the community if you'd like. We just be aware that we are a community of people who are polite with one another. We don't argue. We don't take shots. We don't leave stupid comments and things like that, so that when you come here, you can not only hopefully enjoy and learn from my videos, but you can learn and enjoy the comments from the comments down below. We got some smart people. I always say that I have the smartest commenters, and thereby, by extension, probably the smartest viewers in YouTube land. So if you're here, welcome to that group. I'm sure that you are going to fit in just right. Now, am I sure? No, I'm not, because I don't know you, but probably, hopefully. If so, it's good to have you. I want to talk today about it. It's time to get serious. It is really time to get serious. Now, why do I say that? Isn't it always time to get serious? Yes, it is. But I've had a couple of comments just over the last couple of days that said that they have started to get more serious as a result of watching my videos. And so that makes me understand, because sometimes I forget that there are people who don't really understand the seriousness of the world situation, and not just foreign but domestic as well, and how threatening the world is and is getting. We're facing increasing threats all along. So that's good, and thank you for those of you who let me know about that, because I do tend to and again, if you're new, I'm not one of those channels that is going to beat the same drum every single day. Things are horrible and we're going, whatever. I'm just not like it. I aim more towards the middle to the more sophisticated, if we can say. That's not a good word to use, but the more advanced preparedness people. We have a lot of people here with a lot of years of good experience in preparedness. And that's why I say always check the comment section too, because we got some super smart people who have been there, done that, and you can learn from their comments. And even more so, by the way, over on our Patreon channel, and I always put the link down below, that's where you get everything that's on YouTube, plus a whole lot of other stuff. And our really top tier people are over there. Love to have you over there, whether you consider yourself top tier or not. If you're a top tier, come over and share your expertise with the rest of the community over there. If you're beginning or medium or consider yourself as such, come over and learn more. Well, like I say, it's only $1 a month, and it's the best buck you'll spend in your preparedness endeavors. I wanted to read, usually I will talk about, I'll show my books and put in the book commercial before we get started. This is brought to you by my books, the Stonemont series. But I just got a video here. I'm sorry. I just got a comment here that I saw from, it was one I did a couple days ago, Winds of War. And occasionally, and I'll get people that come on and say, you just want to sell your books and blah, 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 and as if a writer wouldn't want to sell his book. So, that's silly. But I ran across this one, and I think you all are going to get a kick out of this and enjoy it as much as I did. And I'm going to use this. But anyway, you'll see. It comes from Gkin2222. He says, all of these videos you post just to sell your book finally broke me, convincing me to reluctantly buy your first book. He says, or she, I don't know. I loudly slurped I tend to think it's a he because he's slurp, like I do. I take hits about that too, about slurping my coffee. I loudly slurped 5 pots of coffee as I read the whole book, start to finish, in about 18 hours. Unfortunately, The book was filled with acts of domestic terrorism, misogyny, radical individualism, and worst of all, traditional family values. The first book, now don't get mad, wait for his last sentence. The first book was so offensive that I bought the second and third book as well. I love that. If you're wondering, so what are these books that are so wonderfully offensive? Well, before we get into being serious, let me show them to you, because this is the commercial. It's my series, the Stonemont series, my books, The Reversion, The Revival, The Renewal, and Appeal to Heaven, The Blessings of Freedom, and Hostages to Fortune. People have been learning from these books and enjoying the story since 2017 all around the world. Hundreds of thousands of people have become Stonemonters as a result, and that's what we call people who have read the books, as a result of reading these books, and have learned a lot. They are available. It's a great story with all everything you need to know on how to plan for, how to prepare, how to survive, and how to rebuild after a total collapse of everything. And I say that I could make videos for 20 years and never cover everything that I've already covered in detail in these books in a great story. They are available on Amazon. Links down below. You can get them either in paperback or Kindle. A lot of people buy the Kindle so they can have it on their phone whenever they want to read. Plus, they also buy the paperbacks. And I suggest, if when everything goes down, and it will, the grid will go down for whatever reason, you'll still have the paperbacks. Or you can get them from me in paperback, directly from me, autographed if you would like, by visiting our website, stonemont.us. That link is also down below, stonemont.us. And there's a place in there to put, would you like Steve to sign it? What would you like him to put? Dear Uncle Bob, happy birthday, whatever you'd like me to. I'm happy to do it. And so there is that. Now, that really brings us to our subject of today, and it is time to get serious. I think even some more advanced, shall I say, preppers, kind of go through hills and valleys. They will. It's the rare individual who, once having understood the importance of preparedness, starts on their journey and continues, to climb. Those are the ones that really become successful. And it's a matter of making it a lifestyle, a part of your life, as opposed to just something that you do in fits and starts, being driven by, the latest fear of the day, And you don't want your life consumed with it. I mean, I make my living in preparedness. I write books about it. I make videos about it. I teach it. I do all these things. But, and it might seem as if my life were consumed with preparedness. It's really not. I do so many other things. Now, I'm going to go out here in a little bit and water the garden. Yeah, I guess you could call that preparedness, but it's a part of a lifestyle that I enjoy. We grow our own food. Not all of our own food, but we grow a lot of our own food. And it's a joy. You're out there in nature. You're out watering your garden. You're raising the food that you're going to eat, which is better for you and helps to separate you from the system to an extent, right? And after that, I will be signing a whole bunch of books and taking those out and mail them. Those are the ones that people order them from me through the website. And I love to sit down and I write the books. I do write the books, but I sign the books I already wrote. And then later on, I will write on the new book. So yeah, a lot of my day is taken up with this, but most of my life is not. And so I do want to caution people. There's no reason to let prepping take over your life. If that's what happens, take a real strong look to make sure that you're doing it in a positive way and not out of fear. Fear has no place in this. Preparedness is the ultimate responsibility. It is the ultimate irresponsibility. Simply making sure that you and yours are going to be okay, no matter what happens. And it's no different than we do. That's why we have jobs, right? Or I used to have a job, and now I write books. It's why people make a living. It's why they earn money. It's why they put some in a savings account. It's why they have insurance. It's, all those things. It's why they try to build up their wealth for their children and their family. So preparedness is simply a part of that. And when you approach it in that way, it becomes a positive part of your life, and to the extent to where you don't even think about it anymore. Okay, it's kind of like carrying a gun in that matter. When you first start carrying a gun, you think the whole world knows about it. That's all you're thinking about. You feel it there all the time. You become self-conscious. You're driven by, anybody who's carried a gun for a living knows that. And after a while, it just becomes a part of you, and you forget about it. You don't even realize it's there. It's just one of the things you do in your day. You're not consumed with it, and so that has to be the same with prepping. The definition of integrative preparedness is to form your life so you're able to not just survive what may come, but it improves the quality of your life today, to be able to function and to live separate from those external interrelated systems over which you have little or no control. Food, water, shelter, defense, people, all of those things. And so it seems complicated, but if you do it in small steps and small bites, it all comes together. And that's why I try to explain to people the importance of doing it in an integrative, therefore the name of the channel and my company, integrative preparedness. You can't get stuck on one thing. You can't get stuck just on food. You can't just get stuck on weapons. You can't just get stuck on, whatever it is people get stuck on. It all has to fit together. And that can be difficult to understand. I understand that. But it's something you want to work for. And do a little bit as you build up. Don't say, okay, I'm gonna stock all the food, and then I'm gonna buy my defense items, and then I'm gonna, do a little bit, do all of it a little bit at a time, so that it all rises together. Does that make sense? So, I do know people who are fully prepared, and we always have the people that come on and say nobody can be fully prepared, which I say, well, I know a number who are, and I would encourage you to get rid of the limitations on your thinking so that you can become better prepared. Okay? But anyway, the seriousness of preparedness needs to match the seriousness with which you approach the rest of your life, right? Because you want to. The whole purpose of preparedness is to try to ensure that the quality of your life continues regardless of what happens around you in the world, right? Whether it's here domestically in our country, whether it's something that happens overseas, whether it's a war, whether it's an EMP, a CME, a collapse of the grid, a loss of a job, whatever, a hurricane, a tornado, whatever, that you have taken those steps to ensure that you and the people who depend on you are going to be able to continue living a life that is worth living, okay? Not just surviving. I'm really not one who pushes bugging out, And I mean, you should have, and I did a few videos on that, bugging out recently, and I still have to get around to showing you my bags, because I do believe that's important, because the ultimate emergency is always a possibility, right? You're familiar with the PACE planning, right? Okay. Primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency. And then I add a fifth, and I call it the OS, the O, that's even beyond emergency. But you should have all those things in mind. But by approaching it seriously, you're not approaching it frantically. Does that make sense? Okay. Just a serious plan, a 1 foot ahead of the other, a plodding, keep on going, right? right? The turtle beat the hare, right? And a lot of people kind of prepare in that, like the hare. Run real fast, get a lot of stuff, and then let it go. But the plotting, the keeping on is what really gets it done. But at the basis of that is the understanding that it's important. It is important. Your preparedness is important. Now, wherever you are on the preparedness spectrum, as I refer to it, whether you're just beginning or very advanced, I mean, if you got it all, man, you don't need me talking to you. But if you're somewhere else on the spectrum, apply yourself to that point. Don't let thinking that you're not far enough along your road dissuade you. Very often on the YouTube channel especially, we don't get it over on the Patreon channel, another reason to come over there. We'll very often get comments from people who just come by. They're not really a part of our community here, but they're people who are drawn because of the title or whatever, I don't know. And they'll say, if you're not prepared now, it's too late. Well, things are still functioning, so it's not too late, right? I don't know where they get it. And there are those pessimists out there. There are those contrarians that just everything's horrible. And that's not a part of the preparedness mindset. A preparedness mindset is a mindset of responsibility, okay? Realism mixed with a little bit of optimism. And what I mean by that is realism that you understand and accept, recognize what's really going on, the true state of the world. But optimism to the point that where you think there is going to be a future, right? Yeah, there is going to be a future. But that future and the quality of your future is going to depend entirely on how you prepare. So let's review just for another moment. What are the basics of preparedness? Food, water, not really in that order. Water, stored water, a way to purify water. Food, shelter, defense, and people. Those are your 5 basics after the big one up here, which is God. Does that make sense? Okay. And there's plenty of things to talk about. I've done, I don't know how many videos I've got, almost 1,000, I think. Go back and you can watch some. I just put one up over on the Patreon channel, one that I did about 4 years ago, about food prepping. If you want to really understand how to if you're in the beginning parts of it, of prepping, or even if you're not, I've had some fairly experienced preppers that say they like my way better than the way they were doing it. I just put it up last week, I think, over on the Patreon channel. You can go over there and scroll down, and I think it's called The Next Step or Food Preps or something like that. Shot 4 years ago, somebody said, man, I looked at the prices that you were talking about on those, and it just made me cry. That's true. That's why food is such a good investment. You want to invest in things? Food and firearms. That's it. That's I won't pursue it any further. You want an investment? Food and firearms. How much food? 7 years. 7 years. That's what I say. Others will say 6 months, a year, 2 years. Okay. If you've got a year's worth of food, it's twice as good as 6 months, right? If you got 2 years, it's twice as good as a year, right? Because the purpose of your food stocks is to keep you alive if everything falls apart, and that's what you should be assuming. You should prepare for everything going down, just like that's why I wrote about this in the book. Everything went down. But this is a story of a family who was prepared as a result of their preparedness. They weren't rich. They weren't. I tell just a normal story. as a result of their preparedness, they were not only able to continue to live well, but to help other people, and as a result, build a community. I think you'll love the story. But the whole purpose of your stored foods is to keep you alive until you can produce all of your food. That's really the long-term goal of true self-reliance. Now, some people will say, well, I don't care about being self-reliant because I think the whole world is going to keep on going. I just want to be prepared for, whatever may happen. Well, you don't know what may happen. Everything could come apart, and the way this world is going, it could be anything from a planned event to a mistake to an act of God. Okay, it could be somebody flipping a switch and shutting down the grid. It could be a CME from the sun. It could be an EMP attack. You don't know. But that's why we prepare. And let me put it this way. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of it. Simply plan for it. Okay. You have car insurance. You're not out there going around being afraid of getting in an accident all the time. You have car insurance in case it does, right? That's why you prepare. And the thing is, preparedness can be fun. It can be positive. And anybody who has done it to any extent will tell you that it has improved the quality of their life now while they're preparing for the future. I've said this before. I can't remember the last time we had to go to the store. Now, do we go to the store? Yeah, we go to the store for things we want. Hey, Oreo double stuffs is on sale. Let's get that, or we get this. But, whenever we're cooking dinner, we don't have to go to the store. We go to our storeroom. Do you know the prices we pay that we paid for those things is so much less than if we went to the store? And so you see how that improves your life today. You start stocking food, and I mean food you eat. I don't mean these, 25 years in a plastic bucket that tastes like junk, No, they might call that survival food. Yeah, it is survival food, but I don't want to just survive. I want to live. I want to eat food that I enjoy. I enjoy the food that I eat now. I want to continue to enjoy the food that I eat when it all comes apart, which is why I stock what I eat. Okay. And there will be some who say, you can't stock 7 years of food like that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I explain how to do it in my video if you'd like to watch that. So be serious. These are serious times. These are dangerous times. These are threatening times. And the ultimate in responsible living is to be prepared, but also to do it in a way that you're doing in an organized way, you're doing it in a positive way that makes you feel good about it, not fearful. Does that make sense? Okay. Well, just like our commenter there, if you are so disgusted. You want to? I give you the books again that talks about preparedness, family, community, God, fundamental principles, basic fundamental principles that we all should live by and want to live by and try to live by. My books. Available, Amazon down below, or through my website, stonemont.us. And I think you'll like them. Come over to the Patreon channel. I keep saying that because I always forget if I've said it before, but you're going to get so much more over there as you really pursue preparedness. And it's not just for me. We just have so many super sharp people over there that contribute in their comments. And in the community section. Oh, this brings up something too. Guy was over to the house the other day and he said he couldn't find the community section on the Patreon page. And I said, well, I don't know why that is. Turns out he couldn't find it. For some reason, it doesn't come up on his mobile app or on his phone. But I showed him where it was on the laptop. And so I don't know. Maybe you can't get to it on a phone. I'm not sure. But you can get to it on a computer. Laptop, I'm not sure about tablets. So if you can't find the community section, look around, because you're going to want to get the information that's on the community section in addition to my videos and all the other things that I put up. Okay, that's it for today. You'll have a great day. It's time to get serious, get more serious, but do it in a way that adds to the quality of your life, not adds to your fear. And remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, and I'll probably talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.